What's up, everybody? This is Everything Phoenix. We are live here, and it is a Thursday, as always, that we do these lives about the housing market, Phoenix development. Today, we're talking about Phoenix homelessness and some of the issues there. We're talking about some automatic cars that are happening in an interesting part of the valley, by the way. We are talking about, let's see, what else are we talking about? We're talking about mortgage rates. We're talking about middle class affordable housing, more of that coming, which hasn't, not a lot of that's been built recently because there seems to be a little more profit in bigger homes, right? So that's happening as well. And we're going to talk about some development downtown Phoenix as well. And of course, we have something that's really cool at the end for you. But if you could, please let us know where you're listening or watching from and ask questions, guys. Make comments. This is a lot more fun when it's a two-way interaction as much as possible. But again, guys, my name is Kelly Cook, and we are Everything Phoenix. We are here on a weekly basis, putting out new videos for you on a weekly basis. Check out the channel. Subscribe if you don't mind, and ring that notification bell so you're notified every time we have something new coming out. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, and all the other platforms, TikTok as well. So we're going to dive right in, guys, and talk about some things going on with the housing market. Let's start there. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to jump right in to the Cromford report. That's right, guys. We have to start with local data because that's where you get all the best information. So here we go, guys. I see a lot of green. Hopefully you see the same thing. That means you're seeing the correct screen because there's a lot of green out there, guys. Every single suburb is up on the Cromford Market Index, the CMI, which rates all these different areas of town based on supply and demand. If they're a seller's market, a buyer's market, or a balanced market. These are all seller's markets, except for, at the bottom, except for Queen Creek, Maricopa, and Buckeye. Queen Creek actually is in a balanced market because 90 to 110 is balanced, but Maricopa and Buckeye still remain a buyer's market, although it is increasing. Look at the month over month here with Buckeye. You're talking a 15% increase. Everything is up. Chandler, only a 6% increase because you're already at 239. Chandler is blowing up. Okay. And then you have, even though Intel took a huge loss, sidebar, because, it's in Chandler. And even without that all being said, it's still exploding in Chandler from the housing market standpoint. Guys, Scottsdale is up 7%. That's it, but it's still up. Look at PV, Paradise Valley, with all that money coming in from, places like California where they're taxing everybody to death. And that's up 35%. Wow. In fact, the largest, one of the largest sales in Paradise Valley just occurred for $23.5 million. And it was an all cash buyer. Yeah, all cash, 25 million. And then you have Tempe, 27%. So there's some big changes, guys, in a positive direction. So let's see what Cromford, the commentary is so good, guys. It's so good. Let's see what they have to say about it. For the third week running, we have 17 of 17 cities showing improvement for sellers over the past month. The average CMI is up 14.3% over the last month. The improvement is clearly accelerating again, having been 11.4% last week. Supply continues to fall while demand is now rising again, even with rates being, around 6.5, 6.67 to be exact. And they went up a basis point, it looks like, or so over the past several days here. So they're up a little bit, 6.67 on a 30-year, 6.05 on a 15-year. Look at the spread here. The ARM is still at 6.8. So why would you ever do that? Well, again, because May 10th is coming right around the corner, guys. What is May 10th? May 10th is the next CMI, not CMI, CPI for the inflation index. That report's coming out May 10th. And again, why everyone's watching that is because everyone's anticipating inflation to continue to curtail. And in doing so, this will be a year-over-year first report in 1 year where inflation year-over-year was now lower than it was the same month the year before. That's huge. The markets will hopefully respond to that favorably, and mortgage rates will hopefully continue to dissipate and go down a little bit. And so no bank wants to lend on an ARM because they get paid and they make the most returns over time. A 30-year fixed, a 15-year fixed mortgage, right? So if you're just going to refinance that out of it in a year, they don't want to ideally give that to you. So they're not going to make it favorable for you to want to do a 5-1 arm. That's why the rate's higher. So there you go. That's kind of a little hint towards all this in terms of where we think rates probably will be going in the short term here. So interesting, right? I find it fascinating. Okay, so here we go. Paradise Valley has turned around sharply and is now rising the fastest. Obviously, Tempe and Glendale are looking very strong too as well. Now, this is interesting because the Case-Shiller Home Price Index came out yesterday, right? No, 2 days ago. Today's the 27th. 2 days ago. And again, what they talk about is the Case-Shiller is not a good index. Although the data is accurate, it's always lagging several months. So you don't know necessarily the picture of what's happening today when they report it, because it's really what's happening or what happened several months ago. That makes sense, right? So this is why the Cromford report is so good, and this is why it's going to be always hard to have a Case-Shiller or some sort of home price index across the country, because you need a lot of manpower to go in specifically a niche for every single little country marketplace city across America. So that's why the Cromford is so good for Phoenix, because it's just local data alone. All right. So what it's saying basically here, real quick, guys, what it's saying is that Phoenix year over year is down 2.1% year over year. Okay, that doesn't shock anybody, because remember, from June to December, it was a falling knife, right? It was not great. But month over month, again, according to Case-Shiller, which is the data, Phoenix is up 0.1%, right? But again, it's lagging data, not the most accurate stuff, not as of last month, last week, etc. So you go over here, and again, a lot of green, guys. Here is the huge, concise market snapshot. Everything is in green except for two things, and it explains, obviously, everything looks unfavorable for sellers compared to April of last year, but almost everything is looking favorable compared to last month, right? The greens are last month, month over month. There are two exceptions: the annual sales rate and the annual appreciation rate based on the monthly average price per square foot. These will take a long time to turn around by their very nature. They're just like the Titanic trying to move, right? It's going to take longer as opposed to a speedboat, which some of these other things are, these other metrics, okay? So it gives the synopsis right here. And then you can see where they were last week, all green, and so on and so forth. And we talked about this last week, right? We talked about some of the commentators of a lot of people wanting the market to crash, but just because you want it to happen doesn't mean it's going to. And right now, it's not going to happen anytime soon. The data is very clear about that, especially in May 10th. If we get a good reading on the CPI and rates do actually drop a little bit, then it's only going to make more demand stronger. And if it's more demand stronger and supply remains low, which it's continuing to be low, look at this right here. There's a supply. We're going to have a price, an average price that's going to continue to actually go up, not down. So there you have it, at least in the short term. So you can see in the purple here, guys, that is 2023. And our demand has been shrinking ever since the first of the year, right? Now, usually the demand starts to, supply starts shrinking. Usually supply starts to go down a little bit later. Now, last year was a little funky or 2020 because of COVID, right? But this is interesting. Usually supply starts to increase about this time, as you can see here in 2022, and as you can see here on a smaller scale in 2021. It's the seasonal nature of our market here in Phoenix. So why is it still going down right now? Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that so many people have interest rates locked in at 2.75%, right? Or something under 3.5%, let's say, right? And so they're not willing to take that 3.5% and forego it to get into their house that they would like to have, smaller or bigger, whatever it may be, if it's going to be 6.5% on the rate. So where is the difference? I think it lies, somewhere around 2 to 2.5 points. So I think we could get somewhere on average around 6% even, or even 5.5 would be fantastic, but even below 6%, 5.75, 5.875, I think this market's going to, because there's a lot of pent-up demand, I think it's going to actually there'll be even more demand, and potentially could make prices continue to increase, at least in the short term. And then we'll see what happens come the doldrums of the summer, July, August, where naturally it slows down anyway. We'll see what happens then. But you can see, guys, the supply is not going up. The supply continually goes down and demand is going up, albeit so slightly. You have prices that are going to so slightly increase, not decrease. All right. So hopefully that all makes sense. So what they're saying here is the Cromford report has they have a cycle, a cycle. I'm going to show you the cycle, guys. And they're saying right now that we're no longer in relief or in hope. We're now into relief. So this is the cycle of emotions when any housing market is going through at any given time. So you have optimism, enthusiasm, exhilaration. The market's. I mean, think 2021 here, guys. Right? Euphoria, and then you have unease because. And by the way, here's the months. Right? March is like, whoa, man, this is like so good. Something isn't quite right. And then April is like, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing, government, doing what you're doing, everyone else, Federal Reserve, because times are good. And I'm a little in denial that things are probably going to go down a little bit, but they do. And then you get pessimism, panic, capitulation. And guys, this is literally April, May, all the way through December. It just went down in that fashion to an extent. And then, of course, it turned around. And then, January, some skepticism, like we see it improving, but I don't believe it. And then all of a sudden it just continues to do so, whether they believe or not. And you have hope. Oh, this is maybe real. And then relief. And we're right in this relief section right now. They think because of what the market's doing. So these are all good things. These are all good things. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if that can be maintained because we are short on supply. We have an inventory issue. We truly do. All right. So now let's go to some development. All right. Affordable housing. We talked about that. Now, this is interesting because Lennar, of all people, publicly traded home builder, is taking a stand to make more affordable middle-class housing. That's good. We could use some of that, especially in Phoenix, where people are moving here in droves. So there's a picture, a rendering of one of the properties, and they want price points to be in the $250,000 to $350,000 price point, and they want payments to be between $2,000 and $2,500 range. They are saying that they don't want a first-time home buyer to have to pay a monthly payment around $3,000. It's too much. Okay, so we have to make the houses affordable to make that be around $2,000 a month, even where rates are today. Okay, all right, Jay, what's going on? Jay's comment here. What would be the tallest apartments to live in Scottsdale? Well, that's going to be, I'm pretty sure that's going to be Scottsdale waterfront. Scottsdale does have some luxury living. It's not New York City, but over the last decade, they've been working on having some more luxury condo living. And in Old Town Scottsdale, you have a complex called Scottsdale Waterfront. I'm not sure how many floors it is, honestly. You also have Optima Camel View, which is all glass. And that's a luxury condo complex. And that's going to be close to as tall as Scottsdale Waterfront, but not quite. I think Scottsdale Waterfront is 13 stories tall. I think it's 13. Luxury condos, rooftop pool, concierge at the bottom. You can have your own lockers. You can have dry cleaning service, all that stuff that you would hopefully expect to find for the prices you're paying. Optima Camel View is nice too. Great, by the way, all great amenities. Fitness center, etc. as well. In Kierland, Optima has also built and is building more luxury condos there right now as we speak, but they have a luxury condo complex there. I think that is 10 stories, 11 stories. I'm going to find out, and I'm going to have an answer for you, Jay. If you want to, shoot me your information, I'll be happy to DM you or whatever, right? Email you that information. I will confirm, but it's around that number, 13 stories or so. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, Abby, bring it on, Lennar. Yes, let's go, Lennar. Lennar, doesn't have the best reputation in Phoenix. They could have better reputations otherwhere in other cities across the country. But in Phoenix, they're like a discount, but kind of like fabrication builder, track home, and they do good things. Obviously, and some people do good things, but they don't have the best, the most prestigious reputation. That being said, maybe this is a good match. Let's know who we are in Phoenix, and boom, let's go right to affordable housing. And what's cool about this project, I will say, guys, I'll give kudos to Lennar, is the fact that they're not shrinking the lot size for these homes. At least the homes right now for affordable housing they have set to take place. Here's a gallery. You're talking 3 bedrooms, 2 baths on average with a 2-car garage. The basic things that most families or people would love to have. And you're talking about, let's see here, they're talking about 450 to 500 of these homes, Metro Phoenix, to be built, representing 20% of all new Lennar homes expected to be built in Phoenix this year. Here are the locations: Avondale, Tolleson, 91st Avenue in Camelback Road, South Mountain, and other areas, Santan and Florence. The key is outside of Santan Valley and Florence, they want to have locations closer to downtown. So people maybe who have to work or whatever it may be, the nucleus be closer to the nucleus of the city, not on the way outskirts of the area where there may not be any public transportation, and an Uber ride is very expensive into the center of the city. So that's cool. But here you go. They do have nice backyard sizes. We did not change the home site size at all. That's really cool because usually you get those itty bitty postage stamps lots when you get these affordable housing homes or cluster style homes. So anyways, that is a really good thing. Right here's this quote: "We shouldn't sell any entry level homes with $3,000 a month payments. What we need to do is get it in between the $2,000 and $2,500 range." So that's cool. Now this is in San Antonio. This is not Phoenix, guys. This is interesting. This is what Lennar is also doing. So maybe this is coming to Phoenix here soon as well. Ever wanted to live in a tiny home? Well, that might be coming. In San Antonio, you can. These are brand new tiny homes in a San Antonio subdivision where they range from 350 to 661 square feet. Hey, I mean, some people love the VRBO these things, right? So, hey, why not? Larry, what's going on? Good afternoon. I saw your video on DR Horton, new development that is being built. My wife and I are moving to Phoenix in June. We'll be renting an apartment temporarily, 9 months or so, a lease. Okay, heck yeah. Well, Larry, I always say this. I love the fact that people, if they're want to get to know an area and not sure if they're going to be here the long haul, to rent to get to know the area better. The cool thing about Phoenix though is that in Phoenix, it's a grid system. Most of it's a grid system, not all of it, but most of it's a grid system, and so it's fairly easy to kind of learn traffic patterns, to learn ways around the city, to learn the not so good areas versus the good areas versus the great areas of all these different suburbs. So, sometimes it doesn't take as long as it would if you went to a city that was built 100 years ago on the East Coast to figure out the lay of the land, so to speak, which is kind of nice for Phoenix, for someone moving to Phoenix on a relocation basis. So, to continue your comment here, Larry, can shop for a new home. We're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. Awesome. Well, that is a good subdivision that DR Horton is building. It depends if you want new construction or resell. Obviously, we like resell just as much as new construction. We really do. A lot of people love new construction. Now, here's the benefit of that. Obviously, everything's new. No one's lived in the house before. You have warranties that the ROC, Register of Contractor, have in place, and the oversight over these builders. So there's these warranties that are great. Resell homes, but you pay a premium for the new construction. You do pay a premium. The price per square foot is going to be more. On the resale side, you can get a home that might be 20 years old. Yet through the inspection process, if you discover all the mechanicals are in good shape, they're not that old because maybe they've been replaced by the previous owner, the roof, etc., then you have a good idea and it's been remodeled, let's say, and you pay a price for that. You're going to pay a little bit less than you would for that new build home, and that's usually how it is, obviously. But the resale home can be just as good, and you can buy it in which you can potentially turn some of equity in the property on your own, right? Because you buy it right, and then you build some equity in when you buy it. On the new construction, it's gonna be hard to do, but you're getting a brand new house. So just pick your poison on that one. But either one in Phoenix is gonna be good because of the projections of the housing market are so good over the near term and long term. It just is. I'm not saying we're not gonna do this. We're gonna do this, right? Like every other housing market in America, but I just read an article the other day talking about the next recession in America could be coming up right around the corner. Well, duh. But they're saying Phoenix, literally in the article, this person, it was a national article. They're talking about certain housing markets, and they mentioned like two. I think it was one of the markets in Florida and Phoenix are probably not going to experience the recession hit very hard due to all the growth, population, and job front, and of course with the lack of supply that needs to get caught up on the housing. So very interesting. Larry, we're moving to California. Okay, awesome. What part of California? Just curious. And then also too, I heard some bad things about DR Horton. Hopefully this new development will be better. Now I will say this, DR Horton has been fighting an uphill battle for a while. I first got into real estate in 2005. And if you remember in 2005, that was right before the Great Recession, right? And in 2008, the wheels fell off everywhere across the country, including Phoenix, on the housing market side. DR Horton and another builder called KB, they were throwing up homes so fast that I think some of the subs they hired and whatnot just didn't do a good job. The oversight from the superintendents probably wasn't up to par. of what the company probably would expect from corporate. And they've been fighting kind of an uphill battle ever since. However, I will say over the past 5 to 10 years, the quality of what they put out has been better, much better. It just has. And so again, we're fingers on the pulse, we're boots on the ground. So no, we're not saying that we know everything because we certainly don't. And there's probably some issues. I know there's some issues, right, with every builder, but it has gotten better. So that's a good thing. Definitely, no doubt about it. East Bay. Oh, cool. Awesome. I don't know California super well, but I know it a little bit. I was just over there in Los Angeles at the Valencia Country Club playing in a charity golf tournament a little while ago, which is awesome. But it's great because in Phoenix, you can literally do a day trip if you want. The flight's about an hour or so, and then it's about an hour back. So flying to a small airport like Orange County or Burbank, and you can do a day trip from Phoenix. That's what makes it so great. Or to Las Vegas, or to some of these Albuquerque. Phoenix is right in the center of all of these. Rocky Point, want to go to the beach, that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I see those homes are more affordable. Yes, they are. They definitely are. And so it just depends kind of what you're looking for, what you're comfortable with your monthly payment if you are getting a financing on the house. So, but either way, resale matters too. But but by all means, Larry, shoot us a DM, give me a call, shoot me an email, a DM, YouTube, whatever, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about different areas, different pockets that may be underappreciated right now, and ones that probably have a better horizon for appreciating in the future. So, okay, guys, I'm going to jump back over here real quick. But thank you, Larry, for those comments. That's awesome. We'd love to help out any way we possibly can. All right, so that's Lennar. That's affordable housing. Now let's go over here. This is interesting. Interesting article, I thought. My view, this commentator, is right by housing a solution to Arizona's residential shortage. The answer isn't so simple. So, guys, this is interesting. This is talking about zoning. And there's a Senate bill proposed to the Arizona State Senate to try to basically negate and reconfigure a lot of the zoning laws when it came to trying to get housing out of the ground and vertical faster because of our lack of supply. And so let me highlight a couple things in this article. Okay, number one, Phoenix ranked first among all tracked major metro areas between 2021 with a year increase of population growth of 32%. Guys, that is awesome. And we continue to have really good population growth. Oh, Larry, absolutely. I just see you here commenting. Thank you. You're more than welcome, Larry. More than welcome. Thanks for joining the show. But here's the thing. According to the Arizona Department of Housing, the state is short 270,000 housing units, guys. That's not a small number. It isn't, especially when Phoenix is a big city at about 5 million people. So that's a big number. At some point, the supply shortage and the resulting affordability changes will begin to hinder our economic growth. So we need to get this going, right? And they are. A lot of builders are building, but because everyone kind of wasn't sure where the market was going to go in Q4 2022 last year when everything slowed down and rates went crazy because the Fed's trying to slow down the economy. Builders slowed down on pulling permits too. So that's going to have to be made up. That's going to be made up, and they're trying to. They're pulling more permits now to try to obviously continue to build more housing, and they should because they're going to make money off it, right? So, anyways, a few more highlights in this one. Here's the Senate Bill 1117 was proposed to overhaul local municipal zoning powers in an attempt to accelerate new housing development. And thank goodness it got turned down. That's how I feel about it, guys. I would love to have housing go up as fast as the next person. However, you have to do it the right way. Meaning you can't just forget the regulations. You can't have citizens in the area not have a say. Otherwise, you can start throwing up commercial buildings in residential neighborhoods if you want, if under some of these circumstances, right? The bill would have preempted local oversight, and I think it's very important to have public hearings when needed and citizen participation. You don't want all these things to be decided by maybe a select group of people, i.e., politicians. When you have a process right now that's a little more democratic, and it helps shape the neighborhoods that are put into place. And so, again, I love this how they said we recognize the good intentions of this pro-housing bill. However, in effort to solve housing pressure, it preempted local control in many areas that are most critical, such as building heights, density, location, uses, and more. I mean, all of a sudden, you could have an apartment complex go up that's 35 stories in an area where everything else is 10 stories because they're trying to protect mountain views or whatever it may be, right? So this is a good thing. We recognize there's a couple zoning attorneys right here that commented here. We recognize there's a housing shortage, but we still have to go through the process of making sure, in my opinion, that it's done correctly. So that was shut down. Now, speaking of the Valley neighborhoods, Here you go, Larry. This can maybe help you out too, right? Here's the Zonda Heat Index for the top hoods, neighborhoods that is, in Metro Phoenix. So we're just gonna get right to it. Here's what it's about. It determines the hotness of each market by changes in average sell price, sell volume, total transaction volume, as well as new home activity and absorption rate. So there you go. There's a qualification. Now we're going to tell you right now, we're going to get right to the top, right to the top markets. Uh-oh, did I hit an ad? Oh, not good. Sorry. I guess I'm going to get ads for gold chains now. All right, let's go back to where we're at. Thumbnails, come on. There they are. There's the heat index. Sorry, guys. I'm a little clicky here on my trigger finger here on this mouse. All right, so we're gonna get to this, guys, and we're gonna show you the hottest neighborhoods. This is interesting because this is the top 50, and I can send this article to whoever may want to see it. If you want me to DM it to you or email it to you or whatever, right? Text it to you, let me know. But here are the top 50. We're gonna start with number 1. Top neighborhood in all of Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona, 85254, ranked number 1. You can see right here the amount of closings, the average price per square foot, and the average sales price. Next, number 2, Queen Creek, the zip code of 85142. Now, many of these suburbs have more than one zip code, guys, so the zip code matters. You can see the average sales price in Queen Creek. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Goodyear, average sales price, average closings, 1,300 closings, guys, in 2022. Pretty good. Number 4, Mesa, 85212. That's out in East Mesa. Okay, 631. Tonopah, that's more west than Buckeye, guys. That is out there a ways. And that's number 5 because look at the affordability, 290, and you get a lot of land. So that's not bad. And of course, Phoenix, 85037. That's a zip code towards the west side of Phoenix. You have 85203 in Mesa. You have 85258 in Scottsdale. Okay. And then just 2 more here. We'll do the top 10. Arizona City, Arizona, guys. This is up and coming because, again, affordability, way on the outskirts, but affordability. Okay. And last but not least, another Scottsdale zip code at 85260. That happens to be where I live, actually, in that zip code. So that's kind of cool to see the zip code I'm in do that. Okay. Oh, Abby, here you go. The magic zip code is number 1. Shocking. Okay. Now, why do they call this the magic zip code? They call it because it has the 3 things. It has a Scottsdale address. It has Paradise Valley Unified School District, but it has City of Phoenix services and property taxes. Okay, which are a little smaller, a little cheaper than Scottsdale's. So that's why it's the magic zip code, 85254, number one. Abby, I was truly shocked about that. I was shocked about Tonopah, but again, that has to be an affordability play. Plus, a lot of transactions happen out there. So a lot of people were moving out there in 2022 to get more land that didn't care about driving, or they didn't have to drive because they're just going to stay out there and live for cheaper. So that is the reason. All right, Case Shiller. Speaking of which, we talked about that earlier, right? Case Shiller puts out this headline: Metro Phoenix sees negative home price growth for first time since Great Recession. Now, guys, you gotta love clickbait, right? Because the reality is that it's true. That's very true. But the timing of it's terrible. This should have came out, in my humble opinion, January 1st, December 27th, somewhere around there, because that was the lull, that was the bottom of the market. We know that because of data. We have historical data to look at it. That's when it should have came out. Instead, they wait until the market has now V-bounced, recovered, because again, as we saw last week on our YouTube live, that the median price per square foot now is at the same spot it was the second week of September, doing a V, okay, of 2022. That's the recovery. It's done in the first half here of 2023. So, okay, while this is true, share my screen here again. While this is true, this is kind of late timing here, because now if you just read this and go, see, yep, it's going to crash, you're just totally mistaken. You need to read the whole article, and it'll tell you that it was, yes, that was back year over year, and obviously since then, so January, it's been going like this. It just has. Okay, that's just what it is. All right, next thing, let's talk about this. This is a fun one. Okay. I thought this was actually cool because we talk about water a lot in Arizona, right? Arizona revokes water permits for Saudi Arabia-owned Alfalfa farm. Okay, there's a picture of it, and this is I don't know. I think this is a good thing, right? Water is very important. Yet, why are we going to? I don't know. You got to be careful with what you permit for water usage. And the current Attorney General announced that drilling permits for Saudi Arabia-owned Alfalfa Farm in La Paz County have been revoked. So, guys, did you know I need to speak to the screen here to everybody. Did you know that the last time that we are equal in water usage to what we were in 1960? That's right. Because of agricultural, right? So a lot of these farms have been eliminated, or and new technologies come into play, but the ones that have been eliminated because of housing and urban development, that kind of thing. And so you got to be careful on where you're spending your water, right? Because water is very precious, especially in the desert. Now we have a lot of it, we truly do, but you got to be careful because large. So I hear several large corporate farms in western and southeastern Arizona have come under criticism for large amounts of water usage, as the southwestern United States is experiencing a drought over the past 10 years. Okay, this last year is actually great for waterfall. So, anyways, that was just a little headline for you. I thought it was kind of interesting. This is interesting here too as well. Okay, now May Mobility launches autonomous vehicle service in Sun City. Guys, Sun City is a heavy retirement age population. Heavy, more golf carts than cars. Okay, so what's interesting I thought about this whole thing is they're now offering on-demand autonomous vehicle service in Sun City for seniors, and it's going to go to several places that are very that can't if they can't drive themselves. It's going to go several places that are needed: grocery store, maybe the doctor's office, that kind of stuff. Okay. But I thought was very, very interesting is the fact that where is that here? Oh, here we go. While the vehicles are autonomous, May Mobility will have a safety operator in the vehicles to monitor operations, answer questions, and help with accessibility needs, according to the company. Okay, so here's my question. If you're going to have a safety operator in the vehicle, why not just have that person drive? I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just so 1979. I don't know. That's when I was born. I don't. I mean, they're going to be in the car anyways, right? I mean, what are we trying to prove here? I have no idea. I have no idea. But if I'm missing something, guys, and I'm just not seeing it, please comment below and let me know. I would love to hear what I'm missing. But maybe it's just to prove a point that they can have a computer drive the car just fine. I don't know. But nonetheless, there you have it. And I thought it was an interesting article for our friends out in Sun City, Arizona. All right, hotel. This is kind of cool. Hotel set to bring party-friendly vibe to historic building in downtown Phoenix, guys. So you have this new hotel in downtown Phoenix that you should stay at, but it's meant to be not for long stays. You have smaller rooms. It's swanky. It's upbeat. It's part of the Moxie brand under Marriott, and it's been all fully remodeled. You can see a picture of it right there. There it is. Looks pretty cool. But what's great about this, guys, is it's literally one of my brand standards to force my employees to have fun with the guests. That's what the owner is saying, or the general manager. We're not saying, sir, or at your service, how may I help you? If you call the front desk, we'll pick up the phone and say, hey, what's up? That's kind of cool. I mean, I wouldn't mind saying that a hotel does that, right? Then it talks about right here, towards at the beginning here, which is kind of cool, is that it's 164 room. It's like a college dorm filled with open spaces and community tables. They don't want to be the party, but they want to be the pre-party and the after party. All right, so there you go. And again, this is called Moxie down in downtown Phoenix, opening up here in just a month or two. Then you have another hotel business. You have the Omni. This is not near as cool, or as fun, I should say. Probably just as cool. And you can see down here that the Omni Hotel is right next to Arizona State. It is not owned by ASU, although it says ASU right there. But they do have a heavy ASU influence because they're right there on campus, or right by campus. And a lot of Sun Devil stuff throughout the conference room. In fact, the main conference room on the first floor, I think it's called Sun Devil Conference Room or whatnot. But it's a new 330-room hotel right there in the heart of Tempe at the campus or by the campus of Arizona State University. So more hotel news. All right. Oh, here we go. T. Wow, party vibes. I know, right? Parties have. You got Hard Rock Reverb coming here as a hotel. You now have the Moxie coming in downtown Phoenix. I mean, there's just party hotels coming everywhere, right? This is it's probably your kind of place, T. That's my guess. Lori, that's an accident waiting to happen. Yeah. So they actually said in the article, it's funny, they actually said in the article that they want to be the place that people like, maybe go to downtown Phoenix for something and have maybe a drink or two too many, and they just stay one night, just crash, stay the night, and then get up in the next morning when they're able to drive. safely and go home. That's the deal. So interesting business model, right? All right, homelessness, guys. We talked about this in a previous YouTube live, so we're going to just keep you updated on this, or because again, many business owners in downtown Phoenix, for one part of Phoenix on the west side of downtown, they could not conduct business because of the homeless encampment you can see right here. Now, Phoenix, compared to most major cities, their homeless problem isn't as big as some of these other major cities, but it's still fairly large. You see it primarily in the west side of downtown Phoenix. This is where it is primarily, but there's other places as well. But the good news is the city, the courts have determined that City of Phoenix needs to do something about it and clean it up quickly. So that's good. City of Phoenix is working on placing more people in shelters after a judge's recent ruling to clear the largest homeless encampment in the region. New data shows that the number of people experiencing homelessness in the valley is increasing. The annually federally mandated point-in-time count released Monday found that 9,600 people were experiencing homelessness in the Phoenix metro area as of January 2023, which is up 616 people from last year. The amount of those living without shelter was nearly 5,000 people, down 2% since last year, although experts say the point-in-time count is not always accurate. Go figure. Okay, so it has this issue. It needs to do something about it, but it's complicated, as you know. And so once it's cleaned up, the people cannot return to the encampment down there. That's the rule by the judge. So this is good for local businesses, and hopefully better for the homeless people population too as well, because they'll have some place to potentially go to. And if it's a situation where they want to make their situation better, hopefully they'll through a period of process get out of it and go and be better. But obviously that's a very complicated issue because it's hard to judge motivation and all that stuff, right? And who knows what's going on. So I'm not an expert on that, nor do I claim to be. I'm just saying this is what's going on. Reporting the news on Everything Phoenix here about this homelessness encampment going to be cleaned up by the City of Phoenix here over the next several months. Okay. Moving on. And we got a couple things here, guys, and we're done. But this is just another little quick thing on development here that the Phoenix proposes millions of reimbursements to kick off the tech corridor. Okay, so if I pull up a map here, I'm gonna do this real time with you guys, Google Maps. Okay, and I go to I guess I could have just typed in Phoenix, right? There you go. If I go to Phoenix, which we're already in, let me zoom out here. I'm going to show you where the next tech industrial corridor is going to be. Okay, this is going to be on the 202 down by Ahwatukee. All right, so right here, this is fairly new. This loop 202 that connects before, this 202 would come down here and it would just kind of stop, right? Now they connected it all up to the I-10 here, which made a thoroughfare and a lot better for a lot of people looking to travel. They're making this area right through here the next tech corridor. There's a picture of it. There's a lot of farmland there that is being purchased, in the process of being purchased right now, to bring in new industrial buildings to the Loop 202 in the Levine area by reimbursing two firms up to $20 million in public infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera. And they want to make this a lot of industrial use space as well as tech space as well. So a lot of millions of square feet are going to be developed along that corridor where the 202 now connects to the I-10. So pretty cool. A lot more development to come, right? A lot more development to come. So last but not least, I'll leave you with dozens of Arizona restaurants land on Yelp's top 100 places to eat in the Southwest in 2023. Arizona had the most ranked restaurants out of the Southwest states. A total of 22 restaurants across the valley, plus 10 elsewhere in Arizona, the entire state, right, made the list, which included eateries from Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and Mexico. So those 5 states, Arizona had the most, which is great. That means the food is continuing to get better and better here in Arizona. But let's go right to the list. Here you go. The top 100 restaurants in the Arizona area. The number one is Tumerico in Tucson. All right. In Glendale, Casa de Falafel. I probably said that wrong because my Spanish is horrible. But there you go. Kebab Grill and Go. I've been to some of these, not all these. Frank's New York Deli Style in Phoenix. A lot of Phoenix. There's a Flagstaff and Tiki Grill. Okay. Pokey in Scottsdale here. That's Kai Pokey. That's a good one. Valley Wings. That's a really good one. Been there. Let's see. There's a Coffee Co. made the list. What else? Big Nate's Family Barbecue in Mesa, outstanding. Um, but yeah, it's just some good ones on here. Cochina Madrigal in Phoenix is really good. So guys, there's the list right there. Fish Street Burger and Fries in Tempe. Haven't been to that one, but that sounds amazing. So there's your list. But Arizona, guys, the food scene in Arizona is getting better. Guys, check this out. I clicked on this by accident on the last deal, and now it's following me around. By the way, this is the kind of marketing we do for you guys or for any of our clients when we sell a house. Just so you know, we retarget the customers of the house that all the buyers are looking at of your house, so that hopefully they just say, you know what, fine, I'll buy it. Just stop, following me around, Mr. House at 123 Main Street. All right, that was a sidebar. I go on tangents, but guys, thank you very much as always. Hit that subscribe button if you don't mind, and comment below. And if you're watching this on a replay, we will respond to your comments. Let us know what you think. We'll see you next Thursday. And by the way, we thought about, I need to sign off, right? Like on Anchorman, where it says "Stay classy, San Diego." Comment below and let us know what the comment should be. What should be our sign off for Everything Phoenix on YouTube Lives? Like, be good, Phoenix. That's kind of boring, but it works. But until we get something that you guys all decide on, comment below. I want to see what you guys come up with. What's our sign off? Like Anchorman. Be good, Phoenix. We'll go with that one for now. All right, guys. Thank you very much. See you next Wednesday or Thursday. Jeez, next Thursday.